Hello, Sagittarius. This is your personal month forecast for November 2023. So I'm not going to lie to you, really, for much of October, especially late October, and as we start out this month in the beginning of November, you're dealing with a lot of really heavy energies. There's a lot of focus on your 12th house. Specifically, we can see this with Sun, Mars, and Mercury all in Scorpio, which, again, that's your 12th house. So um, it's not all bad. Of course, there's a silver lining here, and we can always use the astrology to our advantage in one way or another. But generally speaking, I would describe 12th house transits like this as kind of the hardest place to have planets be. This is an ending chapter for you, if that makes sense. This will change for sure as we get into November, so don't be too upset. I don't have all bad news to give you. It's going to be a lot more exciting as we get back into your neck of the woods, and Sagittarius season starts this month and things like that. So it's going to get easier as we get in through this month. But starting out this month, very heavy energy from Scorpio. You like to keep things fun and light. So these heavier, more dense energies, they're just not, they don't blend with you as readily. So I do think that it's objectively difficult. Specifically, we're just coming off of that full moon lunar eclipse that we had on the 28th of October. That was at 5 degrees Taurus, opposing the sun in Scorpio. So again, it's a lot of really heavy energy. With so many planets in your 12th house as well, you may have experienced loss and an ending phase, and you may have had a lot of time alone. There's so much focus on your subconscious right now, if that makes sense. That's where the activity is. So definitely something difficult to process. That's another thing too. You may be processing a lot, integrating a lot. So that will definitely continue at the start of the month. But again, hang in there. Hang in there through this forecast, as well as hang in there, through these hard times. It's gonna get easier for you, I promise. Okay. Yes, pretty much like 10 out of 10 of you, regardless of your placements, what your other placements are. It's gonna get a little lighter and easier for you as we go through this month. So just hang in there. I know it's been difficult. Okay, but I wanted to give you some key dates for some developments that are important for you for this month. So the first one you can see here for Saturday, November 4th. This is the day where Saturn turns direct. Saturn is at 0 degrees Pisces. We were pretty lucky. It almost re-entered Aquarius. So good thing we're not going back in time in that regard. Saturn is still in Pisces. So what does this mean? So Pisces makes a square aspect to you, right? So right now, Saturn may be about to, it's kind of in the process of squaring, or it's about to be in the process of squaring whatever placements you have in Sagittarius. So it's applying a lot of pressure to you specifically. There's a lot of pressure that's about to come from Saturn for all of us, with Saturn turning direct, but especially for you because of that angle that it makes to your Sagittarius placements. Okay. Specifically, Saturn is in your 4th house. 4th house has to do with home, family. It's your foundation. It's what's, familiar to you. It's your roots, so to speak. So that's where, going forward after November 4th, you may experience increased pressure, challenges, as well as delays. There's an increased need for you to be responsible, for you to be a leader when it comes to your home and family. Okay, so are you being mature? Are you being responsible with your foundation, with your home and family? Again, there may be pressurized energy there. It may be difficult, but as long as you're being responsible, taking ownership, Saturn will reward you in this area. It doesn't have to be all bad, okay? I promise this won't be this heavy for the full forecast. It's going to get lighter as we continue. Okay, so let's jump forward to November 8th. Venus now changes signs from Virgo to Libra, and I think this is fun. Venus has been in Virgo, so that's your 10th house, which is pretty cool, actually. 10th house has to do with your career and reputation, so with Venus there, Venus was there. I'm describing what was happening leading up to November 8th first, before we get into where Venus is going, right? So Venus has been, shining some light and beauty and abundance on your career, your reputation. You may be enjoying that part of your life more. Others are enjoying you more. Now Venus is entering Libra, which is your 11th house. 11th house has to do more with it also has to do with the public part of your life, maybe your career to some extent, but it's more the social part of those things. How are you relating with your community or any kind of tribes or like clubs or groups that you're a part of? How are your online activities? That sort of thing. That's where moving forward for the rest of the month and beyond, Venus is going to be bringing that desire and pleasure to that, social networking, communal part of your life, if that makes sense. Okay. So yeah, really take advantage of that by networking and increasing those connections and, whoever's out in the world or, people at work, connections like that. That's who you can really set a good impression with moving forward here with Venus in that place for you. Moving forward only 2 days ahead to Friday, November 10th, this is the day where Mercury changes signs from Scorpio to Sagittarius. So I would say this is good news for you. Of course, every single transit, there's something to learn. There are pros and cons, right? However, I would say some transits are objectively easier than others. And with Mercury entering your sign, this shows that, you're coming back to, rather than feeling so estranged and kind of unlike yourself like you have been for the last several weeks with all these Scorpio energies, now you're kind of more moving back into your body, so to speak. You're more feeling like your normal self. With Mercury entering Sagittarius, you may be more chatty, more busy in general. There may be more short distance travel for you. You may be learning a lot, reading, writing, researching, speaking, etc. Busy in general. You're basically just experiencing that mercurial energy. And you can pay specific attention to, where in Sagittarius are your placements, and pay attention to when Mercury crosses over those, because that will also indicate boosted mercurial energy. So boosted reading, writing, teaching, learning, speaking, and again, that busyness, short distance travel, that kind of thing. All right. So yeah, you may feel kind of like there's a weight beginning to lift off your shoulders. And this is just the first of the three. Mercury is the first one, but the Sun and Mars will follow and will make things a bit easier for you as we go throughout the month here. Jumping forward to Monday, November 13th, this is a new moon in Scorpio, so we're not quite done with the Scorpio energy yet. This is the new moon here. You can see it's at 20 degrees Scorpio. So again, it's a new moon in your 12th house. This may mark some kind of shift within you. This is for everyone, this is a deep subconscious kind of emotional new moon, but especially for you because it's in your 12th house, right? So it's an opportunity for a new beginning or resetting your intentions regarding your subconscious, your spirituality, your emotional and mental health, all that good stuff. Not the most fun area to deal with, but definitely a very vital and crucial one, right? This is necessary to, for your health, well-being, and happiness, right? So what are your intentions? How are you? Are you okay? What are your intentions? This is the time for like really sitting with yourself and looking deep within yourself and saying, what do I want? This may be difficult, it may be unsettling, but this is very powerful. This is an opportunity for you, okay? Really take advantage by, again, setting your intentions. I know I already said that, but it's very important. I think it's important we all do that all the time, but especially for you around this new moon. What are your intentions? Don't be surprised if you may feel very heavy around this new moon. There could be deep emotions there. Things are kind of bubbling up from your subconscious, so to speak, for you to deal with at this time. So just allow it to happen. Allow it to happen. Be kind of observant of yourself and just allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling or not feel whatever you're not feeling. Do the things that allow yourself to integrate. Okay, because that's what it's all about right now. Okay, and November 22nd, this is really exciting. This is fun. I feel so bad this forecast is so heavy, but this is some really good news. So this is the day where Sun enters Sagittarius. This is great. Sun, shines a light. It brings energy to wherever it is. So it's bringing energy for you. It's your time to shine. It's your season now. We're in Sagittarius season now, officially, with the Sun entering Sagittarius. And now we have Mercury and Sagittarius there. So Mercury and the Sun in Sagittarius. Sorry. So this is exciting. This shows that you are now feeling more in your element. You're feeling stronger. You've got that fire to you, that fire that we all know and love you for. You're feeling more like your normal self again. And, you may have more energy and kind of ambition in general. You may be more active, you can be more productive, but you can also have more fun. You can kind of do it all now a little bit more so. So, in other words, you may feel kind of like an awakening as we come back around to your time of year and as we approach either your birthday or whatever you're listening to this forecast for. If the sun is about to cross over your rising, whatever placements you have in Sagittarius, Mercury is emboldening those, but especially the sun. The sun is about to embolden those. So this means that you are entering a new phase. You were in an ending phase, a lost phase. Now we are entering a new phase. This is what you had to clear away the old for, through that lost phase. You probably got rid of a lot, maybe mentally speaking or physically. You had to get rid of the old in order to make way for the new. So now it's time to bring in the new. Now is the exciting time. It's going to be a lot more fun for you. It's going to be a lot more natural. You are fiery. This is what you kind of live and breathe. So definitely some exciting news there. And Friday, November 24th, this is where Mars now joins the Sun and Mercury. So all three planets, they've been hanging out for a while. They were all in Scorpio, your 12th house. It was so heavy. Now, as we get to this last week of November, Mercury, Sun, and Mars all in Sagittarius. So we've got the increased busyness, increased learning, and intellectualism with Mercury there. You love that. You're an intellectual, right? We've got the increased energy, increased pride, increased ambition with the sun there. And with Mars here, that increases the ambition even further, your drive, your goals, as well as, it could be like sex drive as well, for example. Mars tends to bring that out too. I do want to mention, one downside from Mars. Mars is kind of a double-edged sword. It can bring a little bit of tension and irritability, especially like if you have a lot of fire placements in your chart already. You may be very energetic already. So having Mars in your sign now could make you a bit competitive or aggressive. But depending on your chart and how much, Mars or fire energy you have, this could, it may or may not be a good thing. You may benefit from Mars being in your sign. You may be a bit more, outspoken. You may be a little bit more willing to put yourself out there and maybe take more risks. So just depending on your personality and the situation, this may or may not be a good thing, if that makes sense. So whatever, just take what I said and kind of adjust how you would react to that depending on your personality, if that makes sense. I know Sagittarius are known for being very fiery, but some of them are very shy. So depending on your personality, you may or may not need that Mars energy. Let me just put it that way, okay? But generally speaking, I do think this is really good, having Mercury, Sun, and Mars all in your sign. It's your time to shine. We are in holiday season now in the West, in America and whatnot. This is your time. It's a fun time. It's a celebratory time. It's festive, right? That's what you live and breathe. That's what you're all about. So good for you. I'm excited for you. I really am. Okay, and then lastly, for Monday, November 27th, this looks even more exciting. So this is what I was saying. See that the last part of this forecast is so much more fun than the beginning. So this full moon will be at 4 degrees Gemini, and it will be opposing the sun at 4 degrees Sagittarius. So what placements do you have in Sagittarius? Are any of them close to 4 degrees? Because if so, this full moon is going to be a really big one for you. It may be life-changing. But regardless of where your placements are, even if they're elsewhere in Sagittarius, this full moon is lighting up your axis. I know it's in Gemini, but it's not just about the moon. A full moon is a sun-moon opposition. So it's about the sun and the moon. So in other words, what is that axis? What is that polarity? So in this case, Sun in Sagittarius being opposed by Moon in Gemini. It's about both of those signs. So in other words, this full moon is about, it's about what Sagittarius and Gemini are about. So it's about learning, being open and, exploring, adventuring. This is what you live and breathe. This is what you're all about. So you are going to be one of the signs that potentially has the most fun on this full moon. On the other hand, you will also be the most directly involved. So that could be a bit, tense. There could be some kind of culmination. I could see things becoming very chaotic. So there is that potential for some of you to have a bit of a chaotic time. However, on the other hand, this looks like party energy. I think it looks fun. It all just depends on exactly what placements you have, because I don't know what placements you have specifically. But generally speaking, this is going to be an energy that you work, very well with. Moon and Gemini. Gemini is your opposing sign, but Gemini and Sagittarius are famous for, getting along well together. These energies work well together. So I think the main trajectory would be that, this is going to be very easy for you to embrace, if that makes sense. Yes, this day may be a bit chaotic for some people, but you are one of the best signs for embracing the chaos and having fun and, enjoying the randomness of life, right? So that's really going to be what's happening around this full moon. And I think you're going to take it in stride. Specifically, this is highlighting your first seventh house axis. So it's highlighting the relationship of your relationships, basically. How are your relationships? It's all about that give and take. So are you giving appropriately? Are you taking appropriately? Do you have relationships that are not balanced, where one person may be gaining more from the relationship than the other? Could be you, could be that other person. I don't know. But this is a time where those things may change. The nature of your relationships may change kind of dramatically. So that could be unsettling, but it's an opportunity for growth for you. Okay. Okay. And I'm just going to leave it at that, honestly. So that's pretty much what I have for you. At this point, I just like to take note of how different the chart is compared to what we started the month with. It was such heavy energy at the beginning, and you of all people, Sagittarius, you of all signs, you love fun. You like to keep it light and entertaining. And so, I almost feel bad for you having to deal with all those heavy energies, but it was necessary. You had to clear out so much of your life in order to make way for the new. Okay. So it was a necessary evil. We could put it that way. All right. And, this is what we have to go through to cultivate that exciting beginning phase that comes after the ending phase, right? So it was necessary to get to those really fun, exciting Sagittarius placements, and even Venus and Libra is exciting to some extent for you as well, right? So that's just the nature of it. Okay, but that's what I have for you. Have a great month. I hope you have a great month, and thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.